I think that this is going to be a fun show to bring to you guys today. We're going to talk about walleyes, but suspended walleyes. So we do a lot of shows and we talk about some suspended fish, some bottom fish. I think overall walleyes in the past were thought of almost exclusively as bottom dwellers, gravel lizards. We're going to talk about this different breed of fish that's not really doing that. And a little bit about the history. I've known about suspended walleye since the 70s, where it wasn't just Lake Erie, okay? It was a lot of different bodies of water. So that's a long time. And then I'm going to also talk about what's new in terms of forward-facing sonar, pairing up to these fish one-on-one, mano a mano, so to speak. And overall, I'm excited to help out with this show.
Just looking for the next bite, next bite, just looking for the next bite.
Gary's history of developing techniques and baits for walleyes is unmatched. Some even call him the walleye godfather. Gary and his brother-in-law Keith spent many years figuring out how to catch walleyes, and their tournament record shows. Recently, the learning curve on how to catch them has increased rapidly due to technology. Bigger, faster, tougher boats and engines has led to more time in the water figuring fish out, and electronics has now made it easier than ever to find fish. Pair this with the equipment that has been designed over the years, and there isn't a better time in history to be an angler.
We'll start with a little bit of history, and for me, that goes back into the 70s. That's the time when we realized that fish would suspend in the summer months, and that was kind of a revelation because everything that had been taught at that time was about structure fishing. But this is about fish that aren't necessarily always relating to structure. And we started adapting some Great Lakes methodology towards catching these walleyes using planer boards. In fact, I actually even helped Bruce DeShano, and at that time his son Nick was too young, but we basically built this little offshore planer board. And really, when I first started figuring this out, and I would be considered one of the pioneers, it was a mathematical thing for me. I felt that spreading lines out to the side would give me more lines to be able to troll with, and therefore mathematically by the end of the day I would have pulled baits by more fish and I would get more bites. That was kind of the start of the revolution for me.
Okay, Mike, I think, yeah, that looks like it. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I already got the rod, guys. All right, that's the way
I was watching it. I just
dropped them back, Bruce.
Okay.
Just got that board just parked back. They're coming up to get it. They might be on the bottom, but they're coming up to get it. This definitely feels like a good one. Let's shuttle them over here.
Yeah. Sun come up, the water lay down.
Just put them right back in the rod holders. There we go. We are ready. You gonna be bored, man, Nick?
I can get it off for you.
This is a good fish.
Those are good.
It's a good fish, boys. If it's a walleye, it's a good one. It hasn't surged like a sheephead at all. Oh, we got a little weed on the board. He hasn't surged at all.
Here he comes.
Little salad with it.
Yeah,
look at how he's staying down, Nick.
He is. There it is.
Nice.
Get the board off.
Boy, he is staying straight down.
Get the net for this one.
Definitely netter. This is definitely a good fish. You just know them better ones because they just hang down there and they're just kind of bulldogging. Smaller fish, just the reeling will make them come up, but bigger one's got enough power to push himself right to the bottom if he needs to.
Oh yeah.
Get this fish in the boat. Yeah! We almost did, but that's going to be a great bait, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a nice bait.
There's only a few around now, but look at the fish we got here. Now, is it a monster? No, but it is a great fish, and it just shows you that Saginaw Bay is coming back.
Yes.
You can come out here right now and just literally catch tons of fish. I mean, it is fun fishing. The boards are always going back, the flags are always going down, but then you never know when a nice big one like this comes in, and you get to really experience some of the Saginaw old, and it'll be coming up new now. So, great fish, very nice. Appreciate you guys having me out.
Thank you.
I love fishing Saginaw Bay here. This is bad boy back in the water. All right, thank you very much for the good fight, and goodbye.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Schaefer's Specialized Lubricant. Putting equipment first. Nitro Boats. Performance Fishing Boats. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley. Your fish, our science. And Power Pole. Total boat control.
Next bite.
Closed captioning for the next bite is provided by Whitewater. Built to brave the waves. Trolling was hands down the best way to catch walleyes for many years. Midsummer, when things got tough, you could always rely on a good trolling bite to get you through any tournament. But the one glaring problem seemed to be when the weather got too nice, it was nearly impossible to get a bite. These are the situations that lead to new techniques, which in turn leads to new baits.
The next revolution to me, and it seemed like, we could catch fish on structure, on sunken islands and drop-offs, rock drop-offs. We could catch fish on the rough days. We would use night crawler harnesses and crankbaits on planer boards and have pretty good luck. On these really clear bodies of water, we couldn't really troll right behind the boat though and have very much luck. For some reason, the fish weren't biting. I always thought that it was from a spooking factor, that the fish were aware of the boat. And then I discovered this little bait called a shiver minnow. It's an ice fishing bait, and when I jigged it alongside the boat, it looked like I had to fish it very aggressively. So I can remember I marked a fish on a reef on Green Bay and cast it out. The first cast, I got one about 6 pounds. After 5 casts, we had 2 6-pounders and an 8-pounder, and proceeded for the rest of the day to pound those fish. And it kind of changed the scope of how we fish structure and Clearwater lakes in the middle of summer. But as we experimented and played around, we found out we could catch these fish earlier in the year too, like in May and June. They would be there even on the calm days, but you had to use an action type retrieve, but use different baits. The new Berkeley Jack is actually kind of the next generation of that. And because we were doing this so much over the last 10 years, the advent of forward-facing sonar just helped us, because now, even in some of the really shallow water, we could see some of those fish.
GP in the house!
Oh, he's coming in pretty quick. I don't know if he's a very big one or not. It was way out there as far as you can cast.
There he is.
There he is. Oh my goodness.
Looks like a good one.
Yeah, he looks like a good one. Here he comes. Here he comes. Please get him.
I got him.
No, how can a fish come in like it's 18 inches all that way, and he gets right by the boat and he turns into that? I don't even think that they know that they're hooked. I think that they come after that minnow and they think it's a dying minnow, and when they bite it, they don't even know that they.
I don't know what it is, because they got to be just gliding in, because they don't even feel heavy.
Yeah.
Then they get in and they're big old fish.
It's big fish.
It makes it fun though, but it can fool you. If you do come out and fish this, just be real cognizant that when they're way out at the end of that stroke, they're gonna feel smaller and they're gonna get bigger. So have it in back reel and get ready for some fight.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah, pretty decent fish.
Very nice. Pretty good guide work on my part too there. Thank you. Here we go. I'm gonna just get down here and let him just get ready here. Oh, here he goes. Nice.
Total Control, presented by Power Pole. 20 years of trust evolved from Total Boat Control.
When it comes to the power pole, you know, at the end of the day, this is a super simple piece of equipment, but it does have a little bit of maintenance with it. But just like everything else on your boat, you want to make sure things are tight, just like your motor bolts. So moving over to the power pole, I mean, it just has 4 simple bolts that attach it to the bracket, and then 2 big bolts in my scenario here that attach it to the jack plate. I just want to make sure that those are tight. One thing you want to do, Power Pole recommends every 100 cycles or so, I usually do it twice a year, is basically check these bolts that go all the way up the power pole. If you ever notice that your power pole is loose and it seems really floppy, it's probably because these are the loose ones. But one thing you want to do is never over tighten them. It's something that you don't want to over tighten them. It just restricts the power pole as it wants to work, but you just want to make sure they're snug and not over tightened. Lastly, what we move into is just double checking the oil. You know, I'm just going to check the reservoir in here and make sure my oil's topped off, you know, almost to the top. But at the end of the day, I always like to keep this jug of extra oil in the boat, just like my big motor oil. Keep the oil right next to where it needs to be, so that way if it ever needs to be topped off, it's very easy to do.
Tournament anglers have driven the advancements in technology and baits more than any other angler. The reason behind this is that they have to catch walleyes no matter what the conditions are. They can't wait for the right weather or prime time for a bite. So their minds are always thinking of new ways to catch fish. For instance, when Tommy got his first forward-facing sonar unit, he made a custom pole to use through the ice before anybody else, just to see if he was able to use it in an ice fishing application. This has led to trial and error of different techniques, either sourced from other fish species or getting creative with baits that already exist, but using them in a different way.
The same group of guys were really getting good at casting for structure, starting to use forward-facing sonar. I think we all realized that there was a little bit of a boat spooking factor, possibly. I know on a lot of the reefs where I used to be able to catch the fish really close to the boat, now I have to look and make casts further away. A lot of times the fish would bite on a cast that was the furthest from the boat for me. And so I've always thought, okay, there's got to be this awareness factor from the walleyes in the boat. So I really never gave it a whole lot of thought to take the technique out to the open water again. And there's a group of tournament anglers, Drake Hurd and a bunch of the guys that run with him, they started taking this technique out to the open water. And they literally started hunting down walleyes that were swimming suspended and finding out all sorts of curious things about these fish. You know, when we trolled for them, we always would troll with our baits above the fish because it seemed like you had to be above them for them to bite. Well, we found out that by watching these fish react, they'll actually look at a bait coming down to them, go up and look at it, and then follow it all to the way to the bottom. And sometimes 20 feet they'll go, and then they'll bite it while it's on the bottom. We found out all kinds of neat things about these open water fish. And so the guys started designing all kinds of open water techniques. You know, a big swim bait was a good choice. And some days it worked well, other days it didn't work very well. One of the best guys that I know uses a jig and crawler for most of the stuff that he does, and he has phenomenal success. But there's also been some baits that have been designed for this forward-facing hunting of fish. You use your trolling motor to find them, you look at them on the forward-facing sonar, and then you can go after them.
You think that got him? Yeah. You're coming back here.
I'm coming back there, yeah.
This is not a 3 on the mountain.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
He's thick, dude.
Look at how thick that thing is. Holy cow.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna lose them, that's for sure.
It'll be a fun spectator sport.
Yeah.
Well, this is crazy.
Look at that thing.
I wanted you to catch one this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
look at the size of that. Come on.
It's not 4 o'clock yet.
Unreal. It is so much fun. It's rough out. It's nasty out.
But when you can catch them like that, who cares?
Ain't gonna catch them on shore.
All right, girl, thank you so much. Holy cow. This is crazy awesome. Come on.
Just a tank.
That is a thick one. There.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Schaefer's Specialized Lubricant. Putting equipment first. Nitro Boats. Performance Fishing Boats. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley. Your fish, our science. Lowrance. The ultimate fishing system. And Power Pole. Total boat control. Hot topics, leading information and tackling techniques to make you a better angler. Presented by Mercury.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about how to be more effective in fishing crankbaits and how to figure out what's the best crankbait for today. So let me give you a little example. I'm going to start out with a number 12 deep hit stick. Great crankbait. Maybe we'll catch a fish out in this zone or not. And let's say I let out about 60 feet of line. So in the app, I can go to 60 feet here. And at 60 feet, you can see that it goes down 20 foot deep. All right, so we start running this at 20 foot down, we start catching fish. That's great, we figured out the zone. Now we want to try and figure out what's the best bait in that zone. Maybe it's this one, but maybe it's a different one. So in this example, what I'm going to do is take out a number 11 flicker minnow, nice big bait like the other one, and I'm going to try and get that in the same zone. And with the app, it's really easy. Simply go to the number 11 flicker minnow here. I'm going to roll down the left column there to 20 feet. And at 20 feet, it says I've got to let out 116 feet of line, so quite a bit more line, a little bit more finessey bait, to get down into that 20-foot zone. So now I've got both these baits running in what I think is a really good zone. This one starts catching fish better, great, I've got a new lure. The other one keeps catching better, I know which one's the best one. So by using the app, not only can you get your bait in initially the right zone, picking out where you're seeing the fish on the depth finder or whatever, fishing just above them, get them in the right zone. But once you start catching fish in the zone, you can start to figure out other baits that are running, down in that same zone, and have the best bait in the best zone to catch a lot of walleyes.
As Gary and Keith's careers progressed, they had the opportunity to design and test the Flicker series of baits with the help of the mad scientist Dan Spangler at Berkeley. They have created an incredible series of crankbaits that are flat-out fish catchers. They have taken that same train of thought to other baits outside of the Flicker series line. With the help of Corey, Chase, and Tommy, among others on the Berkeley team, they are creating baits that are optimized for use with forward-facing sonar, but always letting the fish tell you what they want.
One of the baits that a lot of our crew uses and a lot of people are starting to use is this new finisher. This was built for forward-facing sonar. It's a sinking minnow that you can twitch and even hover over the fish if you want before you let it to sink. So you can actually kind of fire the fish up. So it's called a finisher. And then another really good bait, one that we use quite a bit as an adaptation from the bass guys, is this little 3 to 4, this is a 4-inch minnow, it's called a drip minnow, and you use it on a real light jig head, and you use this to let it hover and fall down in front of the fish. So you look at what's going on right now, a bunch of new techniques and a bunch of new baits, and the guys are crossing over. They're going out to the deep water, they're going into the shallow water, they're starting to realize that on certain days the fish can be caught where we weren't catching them before.
Oh. Right at the boat here.
Here. Get the net.
It's coming.
You think I'm good back here?
Yep.
Probably good back here, huh? Yep.
See it?
Yep, there it is. Oh, there we go. Let's bring it back here. That's a nice one.
Oh, he's got the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna lose that. That thing is gone. That could, just by how hard you set the hook, it must have about jerked the rod out of your
He
hand.
crushed it. It was awesome. Come on, there you go.
That's a good one.
They go from gold to darker
That
gold
thing is dark.
to almost black like this one is here, but oh man, that was fun. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I went to a lighter size. I went to that 6 because it's like we didn't got a bite in a while. We could see fish around us, but we just weren't getting bit. So this time of year, I mean, the water's still in the 40s yet. To me, it's like fall rate, slower.
We got right to the end of the big rocks though,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, gosh, there's gotta be one here. Like you said, it had been a while, and I think that one liked the Berkeley Jack a little bit.
I love catching these walleyes.
Yeah.
All right. Get this one back here. Oh, that water's cold. Oh, there she goes.
What you want to do is switch out that treble hook. I think it does two things. It's got an attracting action. You're ready.
Yeah, I'm gonna quick get unhooked here so you don't get a power play on me.
Well, it is your birthday, so I guess I can wait, you know. Handle the fish, net the fish, unhook the fish.
Good job for you.
Yeah, like a great guide out here or something.
Very effective. We use different baits, design different baits.
Well, we're gonna break out. Let's try it again. It's a bass. It's a bass. No, a bass.
Sense to baits that didn't have sense, or changing some sense that, you know, were of too much sense.
Come on, you river monsters from the deep. Or you're just going for the meatball.
You know, I'm like, you know, I'm saying you know again, right?